Crystal Tower information, Whiskey 2153 Zulu, wind 060 at 5.
076 Mike Juliet, this is departure radar contact.
Hazardous weather information from Minnesota available on flight service frequency.
You've dialed in the Flying Midwest podcast, connecting aviators from across America's heartland, sharing news, information, and events from around the region.
Calling Nancy 53 on over tower, roger, turn left heading 070, runway 9er, clear for takeoff.
Sit back, relax, and join our crew for some hangar talk as we discuss a wide variety of regional aviation topics.
Archer 71143, flying flag, runway 28 left, quick takeoff, left hand southbound.
And now, from our home at the Anoka County Blaine Airport, our checklist is complete, and we're ready for departure for another episode of the Flying Midwest podcast.
Contact departure, every flight.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special episode of the Flying Midwest podcast. We're live at EAA AirVenture, and we did have a special guest, Ryan Dembroski, but it's been crashed by the one and only Brian Turner, his lovely wife, Aaron.
I'm interrupting your intro because I am still here. Also, though, the way you said that, it sounded like Brian took over, but I am also here.
Well, and Eric Johnson was here too. What I think we should do, instead of asking you all the questions, is ask the questions we were going to ask you, but have Brian and Aaron and Eric answer the questions for you, and just that's your answer. Just have Eric do it.
Yeah, Eric should just do it. Eric's not actually here anymore.
It's an audio-only format. I'm trying to... They don't
There's intrigue. Yeah,
okay.
Eric could...
We have Ryan Dembroski, who you guys might know as basically the MC of Boeing Plaza with his Plane Talk. He's the voice of the National STOL Competitions. He's a Badger State resident as well. And I'm going to give you a chance right away to clear the air and do a little trash talk on me because I don't know how to actually spell your name. So the floor is yours if you want to tell me how you actually say your name, and is there a W in it?
Dembroski. So you say the W, but you do not... It's not in there.
Okay.
I was going to say, I didn't think there was a W in Ryan.
There's this stupid... This is like the... Yeah, you know, every family has, like, folklore. And so you posted a picture being like, I'm hanging out with Ryan Dembroski with a W. And then I just circled it real big and reposted it. And then EAA, I've been working for EAA this week. They gave me my media credits with a W as well. And I was like, oh, there goes the W. Always sneak it in there. And you were like mortified. It's fine. Everyone does it. So the story is that when we went to, my grandfather came over from Poland, coming into Ellis Island and doing that. And this is a crazy story. And I gotta call my Aunt Eileen. Two boats he was on sank. And he literally paddled into Ellis Island on a piece of boat wreckage. That's how bad this guy wanted to be in the United States. Wow. But he got to the thing, and they're filling out the paperwork, and they spell the last name, and they put a W in it. Or no, they didn't put a W in it. And then he had broken English, and he said, no, W. And the person at Ellis Island was like, correct, no W, and took the W out. So it's actually supposed to be in there, but it is not. Anyway, no one cares about that. They only care about airplanes. Let's get in. Let's dig in. Come on. Finish your intro. Where are you at?
In fairness, we let Badger do this intro just because of the connection you two have being from Wisconsin, but I don't know that we're going to let him do one again. So
lost his intro privilege.
Let's jump into this. So, Ryan, I think you've played this game with us before where we do our Fast Five questions. So we're going to throw those at you for... God, is that distracting?
You just need to, just don't even look at it.
Pretend he's not here.
Yeah.
But his eyes, I can't help it.
It literally touched your lips and went straight to touching my cheek. So
the camera, by the way, go ahead and clarify.
Yeah, he's talking about the camera.
Okay. Question number one. Favorite plane that you've seen at AirVenture, and I imagine you've seen quite a few.
Actually, it's interesting. I have not seen very many aircraft at AirVenture yet, because I've been literally camping out on Boeing Plaza. And that sounds like a complaint. It's not a complaint. So to fill people in, I am the new host of EAA's Plane Talk. It's something that happened for 20 years. A guy named Jerry Burke created it with Paul Poveresny. Now 23 years ago. At the 20-year anniversary, Jerry retired and brought me in to kind of pick up that torch. And so what happens is 5 times a day, in the morning we do these these interviews with either fighter pilots or interesting pilots from all over the country, sometimes all over the world. And so I spend basically all day on Boeing Plaza, which is really cool. It's a unique experience. It does mean that I don't, like last year, and I don't think so this year, I won't make it to Warbirds at all. I won't have time to do that. Maybe Saturday night I'll go for a little stroll after my responsibilities are done. But it's a great privilege. Last year I interviewed one of the Tuskegee Airmen, George Hardy, and that was really cool. I got to interview 2 Medal of Honor recipients last year, and just a number of amazing, fighter pilots, Coast Guard pilots, Apache pilots, whatever. So that didn't answer your question at all.
I was going to say that this is kind of like a presidential debate where
that's fine. No,
you gave a really long answer.
I'm running for office now, by the way. I don't know when this is going to air, but I'm actually probably the best choice now based on everything that's happening. So Ryan Dembroski 2024 slogan is, how much worse could he make it? So I was nerding out a lot. Today was Innovation Day on the Plaza, and so was able to talk to the folks over at Magni X about the E-Beaver, which is the electrified, fully electric Beaver aircraft. They took a Beaver from whenever they were built a million years ago, put electric propulsion in it, and it's actually like a functional commercial aircraft that Harbour Air is using up in Canada to move passengers around. That's pretty cool. I think everyone's always worried about the military side. Later this week, we're going to dig in real hard on the military stuff. So far, military, you can talk to Colonel, it's call signs Cooter, Colonel Cooter. Talk to him from Duluth and learned a lot about that. His story is amazing. His father served in the Duluth wing of the Air National Guard, and now he and his 4 children all served in that unit out into the flying F-16s out into the, so that's probably one of the, there's so many highlights, but that's pretty cool. Tomorrow we're interviewing the team that brings Fifi here. Later we're going to interview the same team but for Doc. It's looking like, it's fingers crossed, interview one of the snowbirds. So
that'd be cool.
It's a pretty cool.
If you happen to slip our business card their way, that'd be fine.
I will not. But so that is.
Canada's basically.
That's been really cool. Yeah, the other thing I'll say is the STOL demo. I announced the STOL demo, right? And that's wild. That's super cool. So
perfect. I was gonna say, don't you fly Piper Cubs?
I do.
That explains the speed of these questions. So.
Hey! Whoa! Shots fired.
Right across the bow. All right. Question number 2 in our Fast 5. Best kept secret at AirVenture.
The cliche answer is the seaplane base.
It is the cliche answer. I will accept it, but
I haven't been out there in years though. So the best kept secret is the people. Right?
That's a good answer.
I came here for the first time in 2009. Stayed all week, soaked up aviation. And at the end was calling my wife saying I'm kind of lonely, right? And now this event for me, so many years later, is so important to me, right? Brian Turner sitting here with his kind eyes looking at me so gently. He and I, we've become really good friends, right? We don't talk as much as I'd like. We're both pretty busy, but we've become really good friends. And this is the one guaranteed time of year that I get to see him. I get to see him every once in a while when I'm on a STOL circuit near him in Texas. But this is an important week for me for that. So that's the thing. That's what it's all about.
That is so awesome. Great answer.
People, but Brian specifically. Yeah. Okay.
Best kept secret. Yeah, actually, so I guess technically the best kept secret is Brian Turner. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Question 3. Worst weather you've experienced at AirVenture?
Today was not great. So
did you get a little damp tonight?
I got really wet. So the very short version of the story is it was supposed to rain all day today. It was pretty good last night. I brought my rain gear and I went to the office they've set up for me here at EA to make content for them. And I went out to shoot the daily ramp check videos I make for their socials, and was like, do I need the rain gear? I don't think I do. And I walked out, and as soon as I started filming, it started raining, and I was like, well, I'm going to keep filming because it's just going to be a little bit wrong. It was a deluge. It was Noah showed up with his ark. It was a lot. And so that, I got pretty wet. I mean, I think, they can be a little unforgiving with the heat some years.
Yeah.
You got to just ride that lightning. But yeah, it was pretty wet. I mean, I think actually, there was Splosh Kosh however many years ago.
Slosh Kosh, yeah.
Splosh? What did I say? Sploosh Koosh? I don't know. Whatever. That was bad. That was muddy. I don't like it when it gets muddy. I could be wet, but muddy and take me out of here.
All right. Question 4. I already know the answer is not what you had for dinner tonight, but favorite food or beverage on the grounds?
I don't know. I don't know. Definitely not whatever's in front of me right now in my stomach right now. That was not great. No, I missed out on the cheese curd tacos last year. I didn't get to do that. You know what it is? I don't know if A&W is still here, but like 2 years ago, just getting the old-fashioned root beer float.
They are here.
Going up flight line, and here's the best part. I stood in line for the root beer float. I got it. I was drinking it, and this guy walked up to me, and he laughed, and he said, "Hope it's worth it." And I was like,
"That's a
damn right
thing."
Damn right it is. He's making a comment about my body shape.
That was
Telling about the cost of the floats, they're like $16.
We're gonna go with him because the story's better if it's him being rude about my body shape. So we're gonna.
I don't think he was.
He in my recollection, which could be a dramatized version of it, he looked at me, laughed at me, and then was like, "I hope it's worth it." And I was like, "Yeah, it is. It's delicious. It's 100 degrees out here." Anyway.
There's nothing wrong with a refreshing treat.
They're delicious. Yeah, you gotta get in there, get at that. You gotta time it, right? Actually, today, I did a little meet and greet with some of my fans from the Super Aero side of things and from the STOL side of things. And I got a bunch of ice cream sandwiches at the grocery store on the way in today. And because I got the secret in with EA, I was able to find a freezer. And so kept them frozen. And people came and I had like half of them left. I bought like way too many boxes of them. And so I just started going around handing them out to people. And I realized there are a bunch of YouTubers doing stuff at the OPA. So I started just ambushing them while they're talking with their fans and like putting ice cream sandwiches in their faces. And the best part was Josh Flowers was there. And I was like, "Hey, Josh, I love you. Here, have ice cream." So he was like, "Oh, it's so good to see you, but I'm busy with this." I'm like, "Yeah, just take this and eat it." And so he was like, "Cool." And but then he's too polite to eat it in front of his fans, so he's just holding it in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like it's like in the wrapper, but it's getting like mushier and mushier and mushier. And so finally, like the line dies down, and he's like, "Hey, thanks, that was nice. Like, it's a nice treat today." I was like, "Oh, it's good to see you catch up or whatever." And then he unwraps, and it's pretty mushy now. And he's like, "I'm in." So he's eating it, and he's doing a really good job, right? He's doing a really good job of eating it. And then a fan comes out, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'd shake your hand," but like, and his hands are like covered in like chocolate ice cream.
That's how it goes, yeah.
And the guy's like, "Oh, it's no problem. I wish I had one of those." And I go, "Josh, offer him a lick." And without skipping a beat, Josh goes, "I mean, you want a lick?" And the guy's like, he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And then Josh like looks at me and just turns his back to me. So that was pretty great. I was trying to give one to Chris Palmer, and this one I'm gonna put him on blast right now. I called him.
That's cool.
And I could see him. I could see him inside the AOPA like fenced off place. I called him, and I see him look at his Apple Watch, and then just decline. Right. And then I walked up, and I was like, "Chris," and he was like, "Oh." And I was like, "I have ice cream," and he's like, "Oh, okay." So, yes, he's a good friend too, and so it's fine. He was busy. That's what I tell myself.
There you go. He's busy. That's what I say when Brian refuses to take pictures with us too. He's busy.
He's busy. Yeah. Anyway, I am J3ing through these real hard.
Yeah, we might not actually have time for that.
Gone for 15 minutes.
So I'm covering all the topics right now. How long is this supposed to be?
However long we want.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's keep going. Dig in.
We'll keep going. Last question for the Fast Five. If you could meet anyone in aviation, dead or alive, who would it be? And you cannot say Ryan Turner.
No, I've already met him. So, I think the last time you asked me this question, I think I said something like Paul Bertorelli.
I think you did.
Or Rob Ryder. And I think I would still hold the line on those.
Okay.
I have not met either of those gentlemen. I've been doing more air show announcing proper, and getting some advice from one of the greats would be great. And then separately, like finding myself doing more aviation journalism. But you think about Paul Berarelli as someone who's like doing a little more hard-hitting journalism than me being like, what's your favorite part about your airplane? Right? I think that's important. We're trying to get people excited. Yeah. But he had a way of like disarming people and getting in on some, more controversial issues in exciting ways. So, yeah, I think I would still hold the line with that. I don't know. Amelia Earhart? I don't know, like whatever. Transport me into her so I can be like, turn left now. We're all going to be really curious for a long time about this. And he's like, what? Anyway.
Brian, wasn't it you that mentioned her too? Because you wanted to solve the mystery. It was really selfless of you, I think. Was that you or somebody else?
Probably very selfless. I don't recall.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, thanks for playing along with the kind of fast 5 questions.
Medium 5.
Long 5. So, on to the real questions. You were on with us a while ago.
Yeah.
We've kind of seen some of the things you've been up to since, but give us kind of a recap on what Ryan Dembroski's aviation adventures have been since we last had you on.
Sure, absolutely. So, not a ton in the actual cockpit, like to be totally honest. Actually, Brian, though, who's sitting here, has been a bit of an inspiration to me, and he's been...
Said no one ever, but okay.
He's been really working really hard to get time and do a career change, and so I'll give you some. Maybe you want like a hot scoop. I'll give you like some hot scoops.
We'll take it. Hot scoops
sounds awesome. Delicious hot scoops. All right, so a couple things, right? So I've been doing the STOL stuff. We talked about doing this stuff for EA this week. I've also been anchoring some air shows for Live Air Show TV when they do like live broadcasts for that. One of the coolest things that happened to me since we talked last in terms of aviation adventures is, in addition to the STOL circuit and the family that I have on that side of the aviation coin, I also went to Oceana for the air show. That's the master jet base on the East Coast for the Navy. And that was cool. And I got to anchor a show with Brittany Nielsen, who's here, one of the air show announcers here. And we had a great time together. And one of the craziest things was we were invited to the Officers Club, and we did the morning briefings there. But then we also invited to socialize there. And it's like walking into Top Gun. I mean, it literally is like walking into Top Gun. It was incredible. So that was pretty cool, like meeting... I'm not trying to like overstate like American heroes, right? People like putting in work. And while I was there in one of the briefings, one of the helicopter pilots is going to be flying, I think it's the Sea Stallion, like this giant helicopter is going to flying in the demo. And he was like, hey man, thank you for Super Aero. It really like helped me when I was on a previous deployment. I love the show. And I was like, I'm not prepared for this, right? For someone in a flight suit who's, serving off an aircraft carrier to come up and say, like, I really love your content, like, blew my mind. So that was a pretty important and cool thing. Since then, not a ton again with the flying, but I really want to get back in the cockpit. Like I said, Brian's been inspiring me to do that. I think the goal... I'm having some professional changes in my life. I'm probably also midlife crisising, I think.
Is that implying Brian's under midlife crisis at this stage?
He nodded with voracious agreement. So I own a TV production company with another partner, and due to all the aviation opportunities, we met and we talked a bunch and kind of decided mutually came up with is if I want to pursue that stuff, which she was really supportive of, but is it fair to be trying to run a company with someone you're never there, because not never, but you're often gone, doing aviation stuff. So that business is it's still going to keep going, and I'm still going to keep working with her as a director and a producer, but it's going to free up a lot of time to do more flying, to do more. Bring back Super Aero. Maybe you heard it here first. The goal is to launch it again in September. But I have a really big. I'm overcomplicating it. I was talking to someone last night about building a stage for it, like really doing it.
Okay.
That might mean October. We'll see. Like we got to like figure out how to do this and like bring it back and do more stuff like that. So that is all kind of like the future that's coming out of like selling this business, having a little bit of capital to pursue that part of my life a little more aggressively. And then I think, following Brian's footsteps a little bit is like, well, this flying for a living thing is intriguing. I need to see how far I want to take that. So one of the things I'm going to be real intentional about is instrument rating this year, just so I can like see, like if I hate it, well then I don't need to fantasize about being an airline pilot anymore, right? But like I want to do that and just take the next step and see what part of that, where that leads me.
Very cool.
Someone asked me about the STOL
words
stuff.
about STOL.
Words about STOL.
All right, so STOL, here we go. This is the problem, I talk too much. I can't be concise about this. National STOL is where I spend most of my time in the STOL world. I am announcing, I go to every event. I've made every one this year, and I'll finish out every event, all 10 of them this season, assuming there's no unforeseen circumstances. And so we just had one in Hartford, Wisconsin over the weekend. We're going to be in Pinedale, Wyoming mid-August, and then onward to Oregon and Tennessee and Texas. Sulphur Springs. So Brian, who are you? Brian, put that on your calendar. Sulphur Springs right before the election, so it's good. Yeah, we can drown our sorrows in airplane stuff.
Oh, we're gonna celebrate.
But my victory as the new president, Dembroski 2024. So no, National STOL has been great to me, and they've been really kind, and I've been doing that now for 4 years now. And it is incredible. It's such a tight-knit community of people. They welcome me with all these pilots welcome me with open arms. Same thing, like one of those pinch me moments, right? Like pinch me because I'm at Oceana, looking at F-18s in a maintenance hangar. Will also pinch me because I'm sitting around a campfire in Pennsylvania with Steve Henry, who's the one with the crazy 300 plus horsepower yellow airplane number 44. I've seen that airplane take off in 6 feet with the right amount of wind.
That's the one with the snowmobile engine, right?
Snowmobile, yeah. It's a Yamaha Apex engine in it. And so you've got one of these greats. I mean, here's the thing, Steve Henry, if you're old enough, you remember he did the dead stick takeoff stuff on YouTube. And he's been a backcountry pilot that's been really on the forefront for a long time. Frank Knapp, who runs the STOL demo here, I have a selfie of me with him last night on top of the tower. This is the guy that has the world record at Valdez in an airplane called Lil Cub. So these are literally legends of aviation that I'm hanging out with, maybe up to twice a month. And so that has just been whoa. And it's hard not to go rush out and buy anything STOL, right? There's so many options there, but yeah, that's the STOL stuff. It's cool. People should check it out. It's nationalstol.com, and they call me the voice of STOL. I don't know if that's fair to say. There's other people that do it too. Corey Robbins been on the mic with me a lot lately, and he and I have a great chemistry. And so there's a lot of us that want to bring it home to people and make it approachable. But it's been one of the curveballs that life threw me was the ability to do that, probably because of Super Aero. Yeah. And now that's it's kind of a job, right? Sure. This cool thing. So
that's actually a good transition to my next question of how did you get set up with those guys? Did they reach out to you from Super Aero?
It was just Super Aero. Yeah, it was they were starting a thing. I think the very off the record story that I'll share on the record here is that they initially wanted to, they had big plans for it. They wanted to bring in professional sportscasters because it's a motorsport, right? But when you're starting something like that, grassroots, you don't have the money to bring in, someone from F1 or not anyone from F1, but someone from NASCAR or someone from even another sport. And so they were well, who do we know that can do this? And I think there's some other people that they've talked to before they talked to me, but those people maybe could make the commitment at the time or whatever, and they were looking for someone who could grow with the series. And so they saw Super Aero and thought oh, this guy at least sounds like he sort of knows what he's talking about. And so I got a phone call one day from a guy named Doug Jackson who has since sold his stake in National STOL, but he was the founder of it. And he was like, how much do you know about STOL? And I was like, I'll be honest with you, not a lot, but I can learn. And I flew a J3 Cub in training, and he was like, oh, you're fine, you're in. Because he'd seen that, he'd seen that in Super Aero and knew I could like hold my own on a camera or whatever. So yeah, that's how that started. Crazy, right? Like, just like crazy. Like, you make a dumb little YouTube show to, like, get yourself
I wouldn't say
through
dumb little
COVID.
YouTube show.
Well, no, but that was a pandemic project. That was just like, I need to not go insane while we're in lockdown.
Yeah.
And it turned into, now I'm friends with Brian. I'm having pizza with Brian and Aaron in Texas the last time I was there. Like, I've got all these tight friends, and all this stuff is because, like, I had a panic attack about a pandemic. Right? Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So,
Are you doing anything with the STOL here?
I'm announcing the STOL demo here. They came to a competition based on, like, I don't know exactly. There's a lot. So I'm announcing that with Corey Robin.
Okay.
It's very different from the competition, right? We do the competition. We're in a broadcast booth with multiple cameras and a scoring sheet and race control in our ear letting us know when someone's violated a rule or, scratched or whatever. And it's a 4 to 5 hour long broadcast that we sit and work through. This is 30 minutes of like people showing their best stuff. What's kind of cool this year is EAA got their hands on an old Winnebago County radar sign, like that, it'd say like watch your speed,
Here's
you're
your
going this
speed.
much. And they detached the radar detector out of it.
Okay.
And someone's holding it and tracking the aircraft as they come in. And so while it's not a slow flight, STOL is not, part of it is flying slow, but in like STOL competition, the first thing they say is this is not a slow flight competition. That's how people get hurt.
Sure.
So no one's doing that on purpose here beyond what their airplane will normally do. And last night in like minimal wind, Dan Reynolds in a Valdez Chinook, it's the weird one with the pusher configuration.
Okay.
It's like a helicopter without the rotor on top. He was coming in at like 26 miles an hour. Wow. And that's just like normal for him, right? So that was kind of a cool thing. And we're just getting pumped. I mean, it's a huge crowd. And here's the problem. You got the guy right now who talks basically for a living right now, and I cannot give you a concise answer. It could have just been, I'm announcing the STOL competition.
You're doing really great politics.
I know.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Ryan Dembroski 24. Don't overthink it. That's what the other lawn science would say. Don't overthink it. You know what I'm going to say, though? Can I just say that, so Brian and his wife could be doing anything else right now, and they are sitting here hanging out, I think supporting me? I don't know what it is, but you've only rolled your eyes like twice and grimaced once with the answers to that. But I appreciate that. Helps me stay in check, and so this is just real nice. Brian and I have been talking about how excited we are this whole week, and I hope this isn't the last time we hang out. I hope we hang out more this week. But anyway, continue. Let's go.
All right.
I bought you some time.
All right, thanks. So you're obviously very involved in a lot of goings-on at AirVenture. What does the logistics of setting all of that up look like throughout the week?
Do you mean all of AirVenture?
Well,
Because I have no idea, Badger.
to it, sure. Just setting up your schedule and setting up your week, then. We'll focus on you.
I mean, and it's crazy, right? Like, think about how massive this thing is. Like, just like from a logistical standpoint, think about how many people, there's so many volunteers that help bring this together. And then you've got volunteers that have been doing things that are honestly like outside of EAA's organizational purview, right? They just know that like this section of AirVenture is run by this section of volunteers, and they keep it running, and we're so grateful, and they do their thing, right? So it's pretty crazy. Like there's an organization EA, but then it's like the community EA, right? That brings us, and it's a total team effort. For my part, It's like a month. I talk to the EAA folks about, we debrief what we can do better. We debrief how to change things, how to, make the videos more engaging, questions, things like that. We're talking that stuff like in January. It's like, meeting a month here and there just to make sure we're all aligned. What can we do to improve, even down to like technical things like, last year, we had to rig a XLR cable from the Bose carts to the camera. Well, we realized our guy that does that, Sean, was like, hey, this could be someday a tripping hazard.
Yeah.
We got 1 million people walking through. We should go wireless. Simple things like that, always trying to improve. From that, it becomes a question of what's going to be on the plaza. And it's been really interesting because everyone that does any other publication that promotes what we're doing in Plane Talk wants a concrete schedule, and it is literally impossible to give them that. So 2 weeks-ish before the show, they've got a pretty good idea of what's going to be on the plaza when. A week later, it will be somewhat different. Once we get to the show, it's somewhat different, right? It's always because people have mechanicals. A lot is Air Force flight test is here. We're doing a lot of interviews with them this week. Well, they had certain aircraft coming, and it's like actually that aircraft needs to actually go do its job. Okay. Right? So it's like things are changing. So I said, we've got 35 interviews that we're doing this week. It's actually probably going to be closer to 40. And I sent out, 45 emails like over the last 2 weeks, chasing everyone, emailing. It's so surreal. You're like, like Captain so-and-so, like, hello, I am Ryan. I'm this random guy in Milwaukee, and I'm going to hopefully interview you in front of your jet. So that's like the beginning of it. And then every day it's like, phone calls, figuring it out, right? I had a phone call this afternoon with the Snowbirds. They just called and they're like, hey, like I had submitted an interview request and they wanted to know what's going on. And they're like, while I'm doing that, I'm like literally dripping water from the, from the rainstorm. And they're like, we can't hear you very well. I'm like, oh yeah, it's because my phone is soaked, right? Like, so it's just all this like total dance of scheduling and trying to figure out. And I'm sure, by Friday, like the schedule I have right now will change. So it's just like catch it while you can every day. I don't know if that's actually interesting, but that's what it is. It's like a big spreadsheet, a big Google sheet that gets updated like multiple times a day.
Yeah. I mean, even on our small scale, we think we have an idea of what we're going to do with our interviews, and it just goes all kinds of different directions once we get here and start talking with people and getting more opportunities. So, before we continue with this episode, a quick word from those who make the podcast possible. As pilots, we know all about the challenges of battling grease, grime, and other junk that can accumulate on our aircraft, especially on the underside. That's where Release comes in. It's tough on grease and grime, making the cleaning process as easy as spray, wait, and wipe. I've used it on my plane and it tackled those stubborn spots and crease marks with ease. And let's not forget about those bugs we tend to smash with our GA aircraft. With Release, those stuck-on bugs don't stand a chance. And remove them effortlessly, saving me time and elbow grease. What's even better is Release is non-corrosive, non-abrasive, and free of harsh chemicals, so it's safe to use in a variety of aircraft materials. But it's not just for your aircraft. Release is also great for home, cars, boats, and RVs. It's a versatile cleaner that gets the job done wherever you need it. Check out their full lineup today at releasecleaner.com. We are entering the peak of summer flying season, and that means it's time to upgrade your eyewear with Flying Eyes. These aviation-inspired sunglasses feature a sleek, durable, and impact-resistant design. Their gradient lenses are perfect for pilots, providing maximum ease in reading your instrument panel. Say goodbye to those headache-inducing gas station sunglasses that fit poorly with your headset. Flying Eyes is designed by pilots for pilots to ensure superior comfort. Enter code FlyingMidwest10 for 10% off your next purchase at Flying Eyes.
So I know it's only Tuesday, so we have several days left of Plane Talk and your interviews. Have there been any highlights so far for you?
You're right. I kind of did cover all the questions in the fast No, so I can give you a ton, right? So like today we did innovation stuff. So I got to talk to the people at Pivotal about the Helix, formerly the Blackfly, right? Oh, yeah. And talking about like that weird thing and what they're doing with it and why they're trying to build it and they're trying to, it's interesting because I think it's a very expensive thing, but they're trying to make aviation more accessible. That's like their core mission. And hearing their take on it, they're like, well, yeah, this thing is very expensive now, but like if we can get in, electric vehicle transportation, whatever, it's really interesting. Other highlights, talking to the team about the E-Beaver, which is a silly name, but Magni X is the company who talked about the E-Beaver. And actually, the other one today is talking to Pipistrel about their electric Velis, which is like a electric flight training aircraft. I have a newfound respect for electric aviation. I think that there's it's closer than we think, right? The Beaver is something that's being used commercially to move people around in Canada. And sure. Pipistrel you can use for flight training. It's super cool. And they're talking about, in the last 5 years, battery technology changed enough to make the Beaver commercially viable. And so the CTO I was talking to this morning, she's like, so what's another 5 years going to be like? She's like, I don't know when we're ever going to be running military jets off electricity. That's a long way off, but like we're to the point where like this is like a sea change can happen. So that was really cool today. I think yesterday, every Monday, I have now a little tradition of talking to the guys and gals from the 128th. It's the refueling wing out of Milwaukee, and so the same major every time, and he and I talk and catch up, and it's nice to have a little bit of a friendly face to get things started. And then we also I talked about the Duluth folks already, but the other one that was really interesting was this year there's a lot more like GA on the ramp, and so one of the things that was just personally really interesting to me is it's the 20th anniversary of Sport Pilot this year. And man, I sound like I'm just like a EAA PR person right now. But like, it's the 20th anniversary of Sport Pilot, and Mosaic's coming through.
Yeah.
And it's once the rules are through, it's not going to be called Mosaic anymore. So EA is talking about like it's Sport Pilot 2.0 as a way just to like talk about it being different. And I had not literally done any research on it. I was a total bad interviewer. I just walked in. Charlie Becker from EA is there, and he's talking about it. And when this goes through, there will be. I got really excited, just genuinely really excited, because when it goes through, the fleet of aircraft that will be like Sport Pilot eligible, air quotes or whatever, is going to be 60% of the general aviation fleet. There will be, in my opinion, based on what he was saying, there will be no reason for anybody, if they're honest about what their mission is in aviation, unless you want to be like Brian and go to the airlines, there's going to be no reason to get a private pilot certificate. And that is super cool, right? So you can lower the training amount. You have access to these different airplanes, and obviously there's a couple things that are still getting ironed out about like seats or whatever, like how many passengers can you have, whatever. But like literally going to be one of those things where aviation is going to be so much more accessible. Cessna 172, boom, ready to go, right? Like all these things. They have on the Plaza, they had the Tarragon, that like crazy, I mean, it's a super expensive, like carbon fiber composite, whatever, like sport plane from Europe. Well, it's like retracts and goes like, I don't know, hundreds of knots, like super fast thing. And that will qualify under sport pilot. Right now, you need to be a private pilot and have complex and a high performance to do it. Right. So that is cool. That stuff got me excited. I was like, holy cow, like for my kids, when they're old enough to fly, if they choose to do it, like it's going to be way easier for them to get into this than it was for me or for any of us at the table, right? So that's cool too. But I really realized how much I sound like an EA PR person right now, but that was really exciting, and that was a cool realization to see. So, you guys should ask Brian some questions. He's been sitting very patiently.
He has to research.
That's for the walk over to the STOL.
This is why you flew to Oshkosh, right, Aaron? Is to sit in on this live taping of this podcast just for me. Well, I will say though, like part of it is like getting to know you has been really amazing too, right? And like,
nice eyes too.
Aw, like she said, I have nice eyes. Here's the crazy thing, right? Like we all have this mutual passion for aviation, right? And no, but vicariously, I guess maybe through your husband. And I don't know. Should I share the weird story of your first AirVenture? Is that podcast worthy? It's strange, but it's an example of how great you guys are.
It doesn't bother me.
And I'm gonna have to go to the STOL field in a second. This is weird. Hang on, hold on to your butts.
Okay.
This is how I met Erin for the first time. She came in, and Brian was like, "It's gonna be your first AirVenture. Like, I really want to make sure she has a great time. This is so important to me." I was like, "Dude, I will help you. Like, when I'm done working, I will come hang out with you guys." She came, and I was like, "I'm gonna be your AirVenture doula. Like, I'm gonna like help you guys figure this out. I'm gonna like unlock all these doors for you. I'm gonna figure out how to make this like a really great experience." And the first thing that happened, we were reminiscing about this just a minute ago, is that we were walking past the military helicopters. There's a Black Hawk helicopter there, and someone recognized Brian from the helicopter, and Brian was trying to be polite, and like say like he wanted to spend time with me and his wife because she had just got here, mostly his wife, a little bit me, and so I was like, he was like, the guy was like, oh, do you want to like hop in the helicopter? And Brian's like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, get in there, Brian, like, because I'm in Oshkosh Dula mode, right? And I'm like, get in there, this is an opportunity. When's the last time you got to sit in a Black Hawk helicopter? And he was like, never. And he gets in there, and the guy is like so enthusiastic, and Brian's kind of stuck now, like, even though like his wife and I are waiting, and now so Brian's gonna do the thing. It was awesome, right? The dude was great. He was a great dude, but it was like not in the plan, right? So it was kind of like how now I've inadvertently like thrust Brian into the situation that he wanted to worry about his wife and be a good husband to his wife. So we disentangle from that really cool experience. You got to touch a lot of knobs. Incidentally, they did not invite me into the plane, into the helicopter at all. So we were walking away. So now we're like finally free. We're walking down the line, and we're talking about what are we going to do, whatever. And I get a phone call. And this is, please laugh, because it is funny. My stepdad had died in a car accident like an hour earlier. Oh. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like laughing because it's like so absurd. And I was like, guys, I have to go have complicated feelings now because like I don't know how to process this. And then of course these kind people, they're like, well, you don't have to disappear. Like we can like hang out for a little bit and like help you figure out, like talk about it or whatever. And it was this really amazing thing. It was weird. Sorry, it was a little weird. And luckily, every time I've hung out with them since then, no one else has died. So I don't know if like you were the Grim Reaper or what, but so that, I mean, here's the thing: that closeness that you feel with people, like in this community of aviators, I don't know what it is, right? Like, why are we more like I have friends in aviation, something about the connection of that shared experience, I can't put my finger on it. Something about that bonds you together in a way that you don't get that, right? Like, Brian and I hang out maybe twice a year. I feel very close to him. You don't have to say I love you back. That's fine. But like, you know what I mean? Like that, so that I can have this like that's like very visceral like experience and know that I was safe with the people I was with. Yeah, was pretty cool. That was a powerful thing. Sorry, I meant it to be funny because it is funny. Hey, like I'm gonna help you out. Oh, my stepdad's dead. Whatever. Like let's go. No, Aaron, it's cool. Like let's go look at the warbirds. Right? I gotta process this. Right? Like, so yeah. So that was. I mean that was a weird little fun thing, little curveball I threw, and I was like, I can no longer be your Oshkosh Dua. I need to go tend to a few things. But yeah. Anyway, that's a cool thing.
I got a shirt out of the deal.
And you got a shirt. Yeah, Brian got a shirt. Not from me, from the Black Hawk crew. They gave him a shirt. They did also, guess what? Did not give me a shirt. And I interviewed them the next day. And I was like, hey, guys, remember me? I'm the guy that brought Brian Turner over. And they're like, cool, let's do this interview. And then afterwards, I was kind of like, is there going to be a shirt? No shirt. No shirt. No. Yeah, those guys were hardcore. Anyway.
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right, Ryan. I don't know if your answer has changed, but feel free to answer however you wish. What is your aviation unpopular opinion?
What did I say last time?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. My hot take?
Yeah.
Was it about gatekeeping? I think it was like...
I think it was, actually.
I was like,
maybe.
That's exactly what it sounded like, actually.
I kind of remember it. I kind of remember that. Yeah, I mean, I get on my high horse about, like, as I've just been waxing poetic about, like, how tight we all are. I get on my high horse about, like, gatekeeping in the community, and I think that, you know, it's the whole thing about, like, we love this thing. So I think I gave this speech about, we love this so much, and we feel a duty to protect it, and by protecting, a lot of times we don't open it up.
Sure.
I feel really strongly about, like, diversity in aviation. I feel really strongly about giving people access to this thing. It's for everybody, and that is like so important because look at what it gave me, right? And I want that for everybody, and there's no reason why everyone shouldn't have this. And so, you know, I think we're for better or for worse, we're a community that is aging. You know, I feel young in the community, and I'm 41. That's bonkers, right? So that is it. I don't know if I have a better hot take than that.
I don't know. I think that's still valid. It still stands.
Yeah, I just wish I had something like punnier or better for you. But it's all the same scene, right? It's all the same scene, and like we're all in this together. And I guess my challenge to everyone would be, and I think that I've seen this with National STOL. I see this with Plane Talk a little bit. I see this at the air shows, right? Like all of those things are there to inspire people.
Yeah,
and I it's funny because like I think. I'll keep referring it to Brian because I feel bad that he's sitting here while we're doing this interview. But like Brian, when we first met, one of the things he said is like, "Oh, like you're the other funny guy," and then we realized that we don't have to compete. We could just both be funny dudes and like each other. I think there are other funny dudes and ladies now, mostly dudes for some reason. I don't know. Are there any comedian ladies in the aviation world that I'm not aware of? Because I'd love to follow. That'd be cool. But like that Wereworthy guy, he's pretty funny. He's edgy. Oh, it's like we're all in this together, right? Yes. And I think I'm being really serious. I think that was my point. I'm being really serious right now as being like the funny, jokey guy. But I think that, we got like we're inspiring all of us, not just me on the announcer stand tonight or on Boeing Plaza tomorrow. Every single aviator is responsible for inspiring and supporting and scaffolding the next generation of aviators.
Absolutely.
And that is a honor, it's a privilege, and it is a sacred job. And I think that we have to do our best to remember that. And so maybe it's taking a little extra time out of your day to let a kid poke around your plane. Maybe it's giving a friend that first flight. Maybe it's giving your old copies of Sport Aviation or whatever to someone who's inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, I asked my sister-in-law as a dentist, and I was like, "Do you want my old copies of Sport Aviation for your lobby?" Like, I don't care. Like, just like because that's weirdly how I found aviation was like a model airplane magazine in the dentist office was like how it kind of started for me as part of the story. So it's like whatever we can do to like bring people in. I would say if you're listening to this right now and you don't think I'm a total jerkwad by now, my challenge to you would be do one thing in the next week to get someone that you know is interested in aviation in the cockpit, and that could be something else, right? It could be model aviation, it could be drones, it could be model aviation, it could be drones, that's it, that's all I can think of right now. So like it could be any of those things. Do something to support them in that, right? Buy him a model, take him to the airport, give him a high five. The other thing that I think everyone should do, this is, Elliot Seguin. Have you guys had him on your show? He's not from the Midwest. He's from like California, so he probably doesn't qualify. Test pilot guy, right? His thing, for the longest time, he was posting videos where anytime he was at the airport and someone taxied by, he'd stop everything he would do and he'd do fist bumps as they taxied by. And I was like, what's that about? He's like, dude, like what we're doing is insane. Right? Like what we're doing as pilots is insane. We got to like, I'm here, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. Like, yeah, let's go. Right? This is cool. So take that. If nothing else, everyone listening, fist bump someone like in the air, like, like, yeah, or whatever. I don't know how to describe that, the pantomime over the radio, but do that for somebody. Do that for someone and you'll feel better about yourself too.
That is great advice. We really appreciate you coming on and taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down and chat with us, and for bringing Brian and his wife with.
Yeah, they're great.
Lovely.
I talked a lot about it.
It's mostly his eyes.
Brian's making eyes at me right now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add? I've been talking a lot. He's like, no, this is not about me.
Like, no, I do not want to be on this podcast
he
ever
wanted
again.
to hang out with me tonight, and I was like, I realize I have to do this too. And he's like, I guess we'll just sit there and watch you do it and think, man, Ryan, you're kind of a D-bag with all these very sentimental answers you're giving.
Oh, where are you going after this?
I'm going over to the STOL field.
Can we sit next to you while you do that?
Yeah.
Are you announcing?
I'm announcing, yeah.
Would you talk about my eyes?
Yeah. Here's the fun thing. Okay, here's the fun thing for tonight. The people in the Super Aero Discord server, I was like, I'm doing this tonight. You make it fun for me. And I was like, what do you, I've forgotten the word. They gave me a code word to say so that they could tell I was thinking about them. And it was like, it wasn't boogaloo, it was like bump-a-lump or something like that. I don't. Oh man, I better text someone and remind myself what the word is. But I'm trying to work little funny things and someone said
you mean tonight out at the thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
in the podcast.
I'm gonna randomly while I'm up on the stand be like, oh, that was a real boogaloo there, whatever, work it in, whatever it is. So we're gonna try to do that tonight. But
well, I tell you what, when you're announcing it tonight, if you make a reference to Brian Turner's kind eyes, and it can't just be a subtle kind eye, you have to somehow say Brian Turner has beautiful eyes.
Brian's eyes.
Yeah, I will buy you cheese curd tacos the next day. I'll buy them tomorrow.
I think I could sneak in. That landing was smoother than
It's probably not worth losing your
my job. They don't pay me anything to be up there, so
all kinds of mean.
I'll stay with Brian Turner's eyes the whole time. It's what was it? Bug-a-lump?
Is this going to bother you?
It's gonna really bother me. I gotta go text somebody.
The whole thing is going to be that with a bam lamb.
Wait, they can't hear you. I'm gonna reenact Brian.
They can hear
the whole time. We're gonna be up there going, "That was a bam-a-lamb. That was a bumpa-lumpy." Did I do pretty good? Was that pretty good?
Eyes were looking pretty.
Yeah, pretty eyes.
Ryan impersonator here.
Yeah. So anyway,
We should probably let you go. I just got a text from Ash Fund saying that the STOL demo is about to start.
what? Really? You did? It's supposed to start at 8.
The STOL demo was postponed because we found
what it is?
out.
I actually did just text my buddy.
No, wait. What? Show me. Can you show me what you just saw?
No, it's talking about Theater in the Woods, but
Oh, freak me out, man.
I did just text my buddy saying that the MC for the STOL demo might be late because we're bothering him.
No, they'll just start without me. I do have to get all the way to Ultralight Field in the next 15 minutes somehow.
Those legs are made for walking.
Yeah, that's not nice. I want to say thank you to you guys for doing this thing. I would hope when I bring Super Aero back, and maybe this is crazy, but if we have this set built, if that's a thing that really happens, I would like you to come down to Milwaukee and do an episode in person.
Absolutely.
Or we can do it remotely. But I would love to have you on the return of Super Aero. I think it's going to be called Super Aero Tonight. I don't think it's going to be live. I think it's going to be I'm basically going to be like aviation Seth Meyers. That's my goal. So
Awesome.
we'll do super. I don't know. I said it now. I have to do it. So we'll see.
You're committed.
So is it. So it is written. So it is done.
Yeah,
Something
we'll make it
like
happen. We would love to do that.
Yeah, come on, fly down. We've got a half decent airport for you to fly into. We got.
Is it his airport, Badgers?
I don't know.
Or better than
where do you fly out of?
Capitol Drive.
No, it's a crappy airport. Come to mine. Come to Timmerman. Come to Timmerman.
Okay, we
Come to Timmy, where you can find bullets on the ramp any day of the week.
Oh, I've been looking for some of those.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cool. All right.
Thanks,
guys.
Ryan.
It's been an honor. It's a pleasure.
Flight 536, contact Minneapolis Center 132.35 today.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Flying Midwest podcast. Until next time, podcast service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Good day.